Is being recorded.
Sorry.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Sandro Tejada, Director of Major Gifts and the Seton Hall Science Program. Thank you for joining our College of Arts and Sciences parent panel discussion. Seton Hall University is excited to offer a series of virtual resource workshops this summer for incoming students and their families like you. As we bring our strategic plan into focus, we continue to improve on our beautiful grounds by updating our Stillman Trade Room, our dorms, and our flagship university center. We are also fine tuning our schools and colleges and gearing up for what we feel is going to be a wonderful 21-22 academic year. And we're so excited to see our students, staff, faculty in person on campus. So before we begin, I'm just going to please ask everyone to kindly mute yourself. And if you have any questions during this discussion, please use the live chat feature to share your questions. I highly recommend if you want to just raise your hand if you want to ask the question. We would love to hear your voices. There's a raise your hand icon on the top right of your screen to ask any of your questions. That's why we're here. So please don't be afraid, don't be bashful. We're here to answer all your questions. Again, our goal for this panel discussion with you, parents of students in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I'm going to be excited to introduce our panel shortly, is to connect you to our wonderful parent community to share their knowledge, expertise, and insight about the Pirate student experience. And we hope we can answer all your questions and provide you with information to encourage your student to make the most of their experience at Seton Hall University. I just want to share a little bit of information about the College of Arts and Sciences. If you don't know, it's the oldest and largest academic unit at the university. The College of Arts and Sciences provides a learning, teaching, research environment that informs and promotes the university's Catholic mission based on the liberal arts course of study that's grounded in the Catholic intellectual tradition. The college fosters a value-centered, technologically enhanced education that enables the personal and professional development of its students. The college offers programs of study leading to the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Public Administration, Master of Social Work, and Doctor of Philosophy. It's a vibrant and dynamic community of learners. The College of Arts and Sciences has a foundational roots in a rich intellectual tradition rooted in the liberal arts. It's served by the committed and nationally recognized faculty and offers courses and programs which provide students with multiple pathways to success. All right, so that's the end of that commercial. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our wonderful parent panelists. I'll just say their names and I hope I'm going to ask them to unmute themselves to introduce themselves. We also have Lisa Boyajian on a phone call. We have Celeste and Charles Shaw. We also have Lillian and Peter Walpole. And I think Jackie Fontes is also on. So Lisa, if you want to introduce yourself, unmute yourself and share a little bit about your students and their major.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Lisa Boyajian, and I have two pirates. My daughter is going to be a sophomore this year, and she is in the School of International Relations and Diplomacy. And I have a junior, my son, who is going to be in the School of Visual and Media Arts. We love the campus. We love the school. Both of my kids have had a really wonderful experience, and they cannot wait to be back this year.
Thank you, Lisa. How about Celeste and Charles Shaw from California? If you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself and who your student is and a little bit about who you are as well, if you like.
Hi, everyone. I'm Celeste, and this is.
My name is Charlie.
And we actually have a pirate that just graduated in 2021, but was in a specialty program, the dual degree program. So she got her bachelor's from the College of Arts just this spring in behavioral science and sociology, and minor in psychology, and now is at the IHS campus, I believe, for athletic training, and she is working her tail off, but have enjoyed every second at Seton Hall. It's been a great experience. A little nerve-wracking year one, but we survived it. Great people like Sandro and all the staff and faculty at the university are amazing people. Reach out and you guys will all do fine.
I'll just add to this. We personally gotten to see our daughter absolutely grow from a little girl, 17-year-old that we sent across the country. Like, what am I doing? To seeing the young, independent lady that she is now. So it's what a joy. The resources at this school are phenomenal. Just chase them. You'll get them. You're with me. She's now we get to brag like all our parents. She's with the New York Jets right now. They're probably going through what they call the NFL rigmarole. So it's amazing to see a little girl be able to give water and towels to guys that are very big and patching them up so they can go out and kill each other. So, but thank you, Seton Hall.
Thank you, Celeste and Charlie. And again, it's great to see you. And now it's my pleasure to also introduce Lillian and Peter Walpole. If they would like unmute yourself, introduce yourselves, please.
Sure. I'm Peter Walpole and this is Lillian Walpole, and we have a daughter, Jennifer, who's in the pre-med program right now. She's graduating in 2022 with a degree in bio, pre-med, chemistry as a minor, and medical humanities as a minor. She also has the opportunity to be an RA at Boland, which is the freshman, one of the two freshman dorms. And she loves the opportunity of being an RA. It's like one of the highlights, interacting with the school and the students. And she really enjoys that. One of the best things about Seton Hall. She also is in the Alpha Epsilon fraternity. It's a medical fraternity that Seton Hall offers. And she's had the opportunity to speak at the Peter Scheinman Symposium. And she's also interacted with a lot of different groups and activities on campus. She loves the students on campus. She really enjoys being there more than being at home. And she just finds it a pleasure. It's a very good school with a lot of students who help you, and they interact with each other well, and they all get along, which is very, very important to us. We live in Warren, New Jersey, which is about 35 minutes from home, and she still wants to stay on campus, and we let her stay there. But I'm there a lot because we always bring her stuff, and whenever she needs stuff. But there's all stores around there. Like if you need stuff, there's shuttle buses around from the school, and there's Target and a lot of other big stop and shop around there. So a lot of the kids take that. I think it's called the Shoe Fly, and they go pick up stuff. So it's a really good opportunity for your students and your children.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Lillian. As you can see, we have three wonderful families as our panel. And again, I'm going to open it up to questions. Anyone wants to raise their hand and and ask any questions. If not, I have a list of questions I could ask our wonderful panel. So I leave it up to our parents of incoming freshmen. If you want to share your question, go ahead, Millicent. Yep, unmute yourself and ask away.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be on this panel. I'm actually in the store, but I wanted to be here, so I'm here. So I'm a planner. I like to do things way in advance, and so I desperately want to see more pictures of the Aquinas triple, which my daughter will be in, because we're going shopping, and I'm trying to have as much done before she gets there. That's just my way of. I like to plan ahead and be organized.
Did anyone on
So
our
I
panel
don't know.
have any of their students in Aquinas when they dormed?
No, we're actually in Boland the whole time.
Boland.
Yeah. There's a lot of
We
pictures
have
on the
an
on the parents' Facebook pages. I know a lot of parents posted it out there. So, and they show the rooms and all the different amenities. So I think if you join that group, you'll be able to really see a lot of it and get information from the parents.
Yeah, that's
Thank
good.
you. Very helpful.
Yeah, and what I will
My
do
son-
also is add the director of housing and residential life, who's Jessica Perano. I recommend you call her, and she could probably share they might have a video that gives a tour of a virtual tour of Aquinas. So I'll put that in the chat box so you can have access to her contact information. She's wonderful. She's told me countless times if parents have any questions in regards to the dorms and the rooms, that they should contact her. So I'll share her contact information. Good question.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Milson.
Sandra, my son was on the 4th floor in Aquinas. He was in a triple. There are 2 wardrobes. One of them has to be shared between 2 students, but each student gets their own dresser. So there are, I think it's 3 or 4 drawers of a dresser. And then what my son did was we brought an extra plastic 3-drawer container that went underneath his bed.
May I ask another question for her?
Yes.
Of course, Milson, go ahead.
My daughter is going to be on the top bunk of the triple, the bunks, and she's going to be on the top one. So I don't think there's any storage for her under the bed. That's what I was wondering. Maybe I could exchange numbers with the person who has a son in a triple. Would that be better than me taking up all the time here?
Are you okay with that, Lisa?
Yes, it would be my pleasure.
Okay.
My son happens to be on the top bunk, so I can help you.
I'll put my number in
I'll
the
send you
chat.
I'll send you Lisa's contact information, and you guys can connect offline. That'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Much. Okay.
Since we're on housing, I have a question for the panelists. How did your student select their roommate? I know that's sometimes brings anxiety to a lot of students that are coming on campus and meeting their roommates and making sure that it's a good fit. If anyone on the panel would like to share a little bit about that process when they first came on campus and met their roommate, or maybe they met their roommate even before they came on campus. Anyone wants to dive into that question?
Seton Hall has a look. I think there's a site that they went to before they onboarded into the school, and they exchanged a whole bunch of information, and they basically did group chats and everything and found the person that was best suited for them. And I know it didn't work out with some children, so they were able to swap rooms later on. There's a swapping period, but for the most part, a lot of people went in there blind, and then they just spoke to people on the chat sites that Seton Hall provided and found somebody that had the same type of attitude, same type of skills, same type of coursework and things like that, majors that they were looking for. That's how my daughter did it.
Well, I don't know if they did it this year, but I remember they had Pirate Adventure, and they met a lot of people through the Pirate Adventure, and they connected that way. So that was even better. So they met the person face to face, and if they hit it off at Pirate Adventure, they continue the conversations during the summer, and they formed friendships after that.
I think I remember too, our daughter, being in the West Coast, obviously didn't know a single person out there. But I remember her talking to people. I think they had a Facebook group for students that was kind of not through the university, but it was set up that way. And I know she talked to quite a few people that way. And I believe that her freshman year, that's how she ended up with her roommates, who subsequently were roommates the next year after that as well. So they got along quite well once they were situated in. So
let me add to that. She also, we knew she was on the right track when she didn't want us to know her conversations. So there's some stuff that the parents are just better off not quote unquote knowing, and things will kind of work out, and that's kind of your growth. But as long as you convince your students that you're right there if they need you, but they kind of, my daughter kind of wanted me in the next room, not in that room. So, and that's kind of, I noticed that there were a lot of them like that too, although they didn't say that.
My 2 kids went totally random. They filled out a questionnaire through the university, and the university matched them. Both had very nice roommates. My daughter, as a freshman, had one roommate, wonderful. Those two now are rooming again together next year. That's how well they hit it off. It was a great matching system for them, both kids.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing. And knowing that moving day is about a month away, can you share a little bit about that experience for you, all three of you? Just to give our parents of incoming freshmen a better sense of how moving day is emotionally, how the day went for your families. Anyone?
Well,
Jump in.
moving day for us, I mean, it was really actually great. We didn't have to do much because they had the ROTC there and they had a lot of help. So what happens is they bring you around like there's a circle, a big circle, if you've seen Seton Hall, and the vehicles line up and they pull you into spots. And when you get into the spot, it's like there's people everywhere just grabbing your stuff and moving you into rooms. Literally, they ask you what your room number is. Mark your boxes, by the way. If you're moving in and you have stuff in boxes, put a tag on there so they know where to go, like 912, 913, whatever the number may be. But the ROTC, they grab it out of the truck, they walk with you and the student, and they're just moving you in and out, and it's really quick. I mean, you'll be unloaded very quickly. Then you have to go ahead and, situate everything, which takes you a while. But as far as moving into the room, it's pretty quick.
And that's just a freshman benefit. You don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
we were spoiled this year. The second year we didn't get that.
Yeah, when you get to sophomore, there's more ROTC to help you.
I have one thing to add for people that are traveling. Like, again, we're coming 3,000 miles away. It's a very difficult process, all of that figuring out. Bed Bath & Beyond was wonderful. They actually had a service that we actually did in California. They're national, so they had Seton Hall shopping list of things they could have in the dorms, things that were recommended, everything down to the wire. We did all of our shopping out in our store in California. It was shipped to the store. I don't remember whatever one was closest to South Orange. And on moving day, or the day before, we got there the day early, we went to the Bed Bath & Beyond, picked up all our stuff. It was marked. It was labeled. It was a fantastic tool. I highly recommend it. And actually right now, I do believe, I just don't know why I'm getting it, but I'm still getting, they have the 20% off your entire purchase right now up until the end of September. So take advantage of that. Let them, ship it and keep it at their place until you get there. It's phenomenal, reasonable, great stuff, super easy. The best part of move-in day, though, was having Father, gosh, can't remember his name, moving us and moving
Father
the boxes
John.
out of the, thank you, yes, out of the cars. That, I loved that. That was our highlight of the day. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, definitely. Father John is out there directing traffic and making sure things are moving smoothly. And so, yeah, he's a wonderful priest and someone that all families are going to get to know during their time as a pirate parent. How about you, Lisa? Anything you would like to share in regards to your move-in day experience?
It was it went very smooth. It was quick. There was a lot of help. It was just really nice. Last year was a little bit different for my daughter because we had an allotted time that we had to be in, get everything in, and then we had to leave. But I think this year is going to be a lot more typical and normal, and it's just a fun experience. There's a lot of smiling faces. It's a really nice atmosphere, and I think it's going to be really, really nice for everyone. And my husband's here. Hold on one second, please.
I'm going to add something for the freshman parents. This is Levon Boyajian. I'm driving the car trying to behave.
Thank you for joining us, Levon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So don't overbuy for the kids, right? They spend that first or second night, they go to the Target together. They have a night. And, as much as you want to plan to get everything, you're going to be returning a lot of things because you think they need it, you think they want it, you think they should have it. But really, when you get there, you start to understand that they don't need as much as you might think. And for those coming from afar, yes, you have to prepare. Absolutely. But there's still that opportunity for the kids to go out. And I think they have a ball. They have a lot of fun doing it. Right. So, I don't, they close the store and it's just the students. It's awesome. So anyway, that's it. I'll be quiet. I'll go back to driving. Thank you.
Levon, thank you. That's great advice. It's true. I think that's a good advice. I know most families want to bring everything, and gradually, they'll be able to pick up everything they need. And I think the other advice is really make sure the roommates are talking to each other in regards to what they're bringing. You want to make sure that not all of them are bringing fridges to a one, so make sure that they're talking to each other and coordinating who's bringing what, and make sure you're checking at the checklist of things that they need to bring and what they can't bring, especially because of fire safety. So that's something you really want to be cognizant of as well. And again, any questions from our parents of incoming freshmen? Please, this is the opportunity. You could write your question in the chat or unmute yourself and ask away. Okay. Well, I think, one of the things I know parents are always concerned, and the reason why you're sending your students to Seton Hall is to receive a wonderful education. And so I think one of the things that is for especially freshmen, they receive, a lot of tutoring with the peer advisors, academic advising. So to the panel, what were some of the things that your students took advantage of to be successful students while they went through the different semesters? If anyone wants to elaborate.
Well, my daughter took advantage of one of the art tutoring, and that's pretty good. You get to you sign up for tutoring for a specific subject, and they can help you with the classwork or homework, and it just give you a more like a one-on-one in-depth anything that you need help on, and that worked out really well. I have to be honest, some tutors were better than others, but after a while you get to know, who you like, and you can select specific tutors. So my daughter took advantage of that quite a bit.
Thank you, Lillian. Anyone else on the panel would like to share any advice in
Yes.
regards to how your students were very successful in regards to their academic success and taking advantage of the resources that are available?
Yes, both of my kids have taken advantage of the writing center. That really helped them. They're both in the honors program, and just at the beginning with the writing, they just just another set of eyes to look over a paper for them. That was really instrumental. The other thing that my daughter specifically really took advantage of at the School of Diplomacy was her advisor there. She had a peer advisor, and just was excellent. Really, really, really wonderful opportunity to have all those extra perks of being at the school.
Another thing for the students to do is to join the clubs. They could go crazy with it, or they could join one or two or three clubs that may be relevant to what they're doing, and they get to meet the other students. And this is about meeting people, and it's about getting comfortable and becoming familiar. And the more they jump in with that, the faster they're going to acclimate and get comfortable. And I think, as a parent, that's one of the most comforting things, is to learn that your kid is going to these, to these events and these groups, and all of a sudden they're with their peers, and it's more than just their roommates; it's their academic peers, and that, I think, was a very good advantage, especially for our daughter, and we're encouraging our son still. Right? It's still part of networking and how you work in the business world. It's the same thing in the college life.
Yeah, no, totally agree, Levon. Thank you for that advice. I think that's a big part of the student experience, is really being engaged in these wonderful organizations and clubs. That's where they're going to meet their friends. That's where they're going to meet their people. That's where they're going to spend a lot of their time in learning how to engage in groups. And, they'll be, organizing events and fundraisers and doing community service. So it's a big part of their life as a Seton Hall Pirate. So highly recommend. And I think, definitely there's research where those that are more involved do better in the classroom, just because they just feel a part of something. And so I highly recommend that. And I know in the first week of classes, we'll have what's called the involvement fair, which is usually 2 days on the green. We have all our organizations and clubs out there just sharing how you can be involved. So your freshmen will be, they'll be exposed to the different organizations and clubs that are out there. And so it's a big part of their experience. So yeah, Levon, I definitely agree. It's a big part of their experience in transitioning right from high school to college and meeting. I think that's one of the anxieties a lot of high school students becoming. Who are they going to meet? Are they going to fit in? Are they going to meet friends? And so that's a big part of it. So, and anyone that's on the panel, I know Peter, you mentioned that your daughter was in a sorority. You want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so she joined the medical sorority as part of, her BSMD pursuing pre-med, and she really enjoys it, and they help each other out. So that's one of the key things, like joining something that your child will feel like they're part of, like Sandra said. And the other thing is meet your professors, because my daughter is applying now to med school, and the professors now need to write recommendations for her. And you have to make sure your students know some of the professors, and even if they're not going for pre-med, if they're going for a different program to after graduation, they're going to need recommendation letters. The professors are willing to help you, but they need to know your student. And a lot of times, if they know you, they'll help you out more, and you'll get tutoring from them also, and you'll get the recommendations you need. So not only should they join clubs, but they should also work and meet their professors and not be afraid to go up to them during office hours and get involved. But those are some of the key things, joining sorority or joining something that your child likes and dealing with the professors, to make sure they know you as a person.
Yeah, I totally agree, Peter. That's a great advice. Definitely, students really getting to know their professors and developing a relationship with them and meeting them at their office hours. I think that's half the battle. I mean, 50% is probably just showing up at class, but also developing a relationship with professors who normally, our faculty are amazing and they really care about their students and their success. But it's also those students that are the most assertive in regards to developing that relationship, where professors are really, take a liking to, and like Peter mentioned, that time where they're asking for recommendations, letters of recommendations, is an easy thing to do for them to do it just because they know there's these students personally, and so they know their story, right? So that's important. Anyone else on the panel want to share a little bit about their students' involvement with organizations and clubs, or even, taking advantage of the academic resources for them to be successful?
Again,
Go ahead, Charlie.
Well,
yeah, I can add to that a little bit. My daughter Samantha, when her freshman year, her very first semester, we were wondering what's going on, and our attitude was, because we were so far away, she's going to have to kind of stand on her own early. So, but what we did is we politely asked her to get to meet some people, and what really helped her is when she discovered some upper level students who were a year or two ahead of her, and that really worked. And we found that this is really good, that Samantha could ask a sophomore or a junior. They want to hear it from someone who's ahead of her by 1 year. And these students said, reach out to the professors. So when my daughter said, hey, I want to talk to the professor, we're like, oh, go for it, as opposed to us telling that. And these professors they really care here. And we could just sense, talking to our daughter on the phone, that some of the anxiety went away. And at first, she's really worried. She's got to talk to her mom. And then as the semester went on, she was very comfortable. So it's going to take a little time, but just be positively reinforcing what your son or daughter are going to suggest to you. Just say, yeah, that's a good idea. When you, as a parent, you kind of figure they better ask that eventually. But getting involved, this university will really, you're going to see that the people behind the university are really are there.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlie. Lisa, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one other point to what Peter said. The class sizes are very
Sorry, Lisa, I think you're muted. Lisa.
You guys want cheese and peppers?
Right, and bring up 2 scooters
Okay. And she's muted, but that's okay. Any questions from our parents of incoming freshmen? Oh, this is a very shy group.
Oh no, yeah, I had another question.
Go ahead, Mason.
Because I didn't hear the parent who said, this is very helpful to me, and I just want to say that this is very helpful. The parent who said, don't get everything up front because the kids are going to go to the stores to get things together. And I wanted to know, I didn't hear the name of the store that they're going to go to, and also, how do they get there? Because they're not going to have cars. How do they get around to a store?
Anyone want to answer that question? So I know it was Levon that mentioned that they normally go to Target. And
the Target party.
Yep.
They have a Target party where they take you on buses. I mean, look, these are like the big buses that are like 50 people sit in. And they take, I don't know if somebody commute, it's like a lot of background, but they take you on the Target buses and they bring you there for like a big party. And I think it'll last for like a few hours. And during that time, you can pick up anything you want, and they put it underneath the bus, like it's the big buses that go, on trips and everything. And you can, bring back. People brought back like those bookcases and you name it, they're bringing it back. So that's where they did a lot of stuff. And then they had the shoe fly where you can go to stores locally and pick up stuff if you need it. Also, like this Target, Bed Bath, and Bed and Bath, and there's some other stores around there. So you can get around with those buses also.
Wasn't it, I think they had said that the shoe fly makes the rounds. One weekend it would go to the shopping mall, and then the next weekend it would do the Target, but during the week it made a normal run all through the village. So if they needed to go to the grocery store or go down to the village to get something they needed, it made several stops around town. But I believe it was every other weekend, don't quote me, but every other weekend, one was the big mall, one was the Target mall kind of thing.
And the other thing is you could always order stuff online and have it shipped directly to the school because everybody has a mailbox. You just pick it up from the mailroom. So I know like Amazon Prime is really popular there. And if you order stuff from Target, they could ship it to the school too. So it's really easy.
I have one more thing to add, sort of as what helped us, again, being far away is a big difference from being local, where we didn't get to see our daughter at all. So it was a real challenge for us. The school actually put out a program, I believe at the beginning of the semester, through another company, through a second party company, but it was a really great way to do the care baskets, and they would ship them quarterly, or you can sign up for a plan. And that really helped us feel somewhat connected. We were able to write handwritten notes and things. So she would at least get something maybe once or twice or 3 times during the year or semester or whatnot. And we found that very helpful for her to feel like we're not there, but we're still there. And that was really a great program. And I believe it was sponsored. Was it not sponsored by the school, Sandro? Or it came through, connected somehow to the school?
Yeah, I think I had used a third-party vendor to provide that service. But it's something that I knew that worked very well. And there's also opportunities to send care packages, like for birthdays and things of that nature. And I also highly recommend that parents, if you haven't joined our parents Facebook group, because again, our parents are a great resource of information. And so if there's a question in regards to who to use to do storage, right? Especially for those students that are out of state when they have to move out of the dorms. So there's a wealth of information there, and it's really parents helping other parents about this journey that you're taking, and it's a really supportive community. So, and there's 2 Facebook groups that you can join. There's one that's an official one that's monitored by the university, and there's one that was administrated by parents, which is, they're both great. So I highly recommend you join that as well. Any other questions from our parents of incoming freshmen? We have about 20
Is there
minutes.
any other way to connect with parents without having Facebook?
I'm sorry, who's this?
Is there any other way to connect with parents without having Facebook?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do, we do a lot of events on campus. So we, especially during Seton Hall weekend, we do a lot of events for parents to meet other parents. Actually, on move-in day, we will be having a reception, a pregame reception. Our soccer team is playing Temple in the evening. So if you're still on campus, we're going to invite everyone that's moving in to this reception, a pregame reception where they can meet other families. I believe President Nair is going to be there as well to welcome families. And we'll be on campus the whole day. We'll have a welcome tent for families, so it's an opportunity for you to stop by and meet other families. We host a lot of events with our deans. We host what's called a dinner with the deans. So like your dean, we have a new dean at the College of Arts and Sciences, if you don't know. So I know she's going to want to do kind of a meet and greet with families as well. So there's a lot of opportunities. We also have parents that host events for us, especially during the recruiting season, which is usually March and April, sometimes in February, where we have families host what's called admitted student events, where we're welcoming and trying to recruit admitted students. So there's an opportunity for you to meet them. I host dinners with families as well, town to town. I just came from Boston. Yesterday, meeting with, we had dinner with 5 families from the Boston area. Tomorrow I'm going to DC, meeting with families there too to kind of build this community. We'll be in Chicago. So, and we're open to ideas. That's the goal. We want families to feel like they're part of the Seton Hall community. And one part of it is just getting to know other families. And you'll get to know families because just in regards to, like Peter mentioned, the fraternities and sororities, they're a family of themselves where these students are really meeting, right, based off the organizations and clubs that they're in. Also the fraternities and sororities, so it's a smaller connection there where these families are meeting each other through those types of networks that their students are creating organically on campus. So yeah, there'll be a lot of opportunities for families to meet others other than being on social media. So yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Any other questions from our parents of incoming freshmen?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one more question. The
Yes.
students who don't stay on campus, are they given a locker while they're there to rest their stuff,
It was hard to hear your question. Would you like to put it in the chat or repeat it?
I can repeat that. The students who are off campus, who doesn't stay on campus, are they given a locker where they can put their stuff during the time they're on the property?
It's a good question. Does anyone on our panel might be able to? Not that I know of, honestly, in regards, I know commuter students really get to, they might have friends that they've met on campus where they might be able to leave, their things in their dorm rooms. The university, the athletic centers has lockers that they can leave there. But I know they're renovating the university center, and that's a good question. That might be something that they are going to provide for commuters to leave their belongings. That's a good question. I've not heard that one, but I can follow up and see if there are other locations where students that are commuting are able to leave their belongings. That's a great question.
I know my child said that they put a lot of stuff in the cars because everybody's parking there, so they make the car into a locker and a home basically. So that's one of the places that they store all the stuff.
Any other questions from our parents of incoming freshmen? We have about 15 minutes left.
I had another question.
Go ahead, Melissa.
My thought was to, since move-in day is on Thursday, my thought was to maybe find a hotel or someplace to stay there in the area. We're only 90 minutes away, but to stay there for a couple of days in case, you know, she needed something or wanted to send something back home because we brought too much stuff that she didn't need. Do parents ever do that? Like plan to stay there for that reason? And if so, can you recommend a place to stay in the area that you're comfortable
Celeste
with?
and Charlie, I'd imagine commuting from California, you probably stayed in some wonderful hotels nearby.
I could speak. I think we stayed in every hotel within I don't know, 100-mile radius. Because it's so close to New York City, we've happened to enjoy the amenities there while our student was busy. But that way we were still around. Suggest the best thing, Google away if you can Google and see what hotel you want to stay at. They have some really cheap ones, which we've stayed at, and we've had some nicer ones where we said, we're going to make this a date night for ourselves. So there's a lot of hotel options around the university. And feel free to make it like almost a mini vacation for yourself, although you're still there for your student if they need you.
Yeah, I don't think we saw our daughter on move-in day. We were in a hotel a few miles away, but she was doing her thing and meeting people, hanging with the roommates. I think that was the first time we went to New York City by ourselves because we really weren't needed, but we were close by if we needed to be. And we only stayed in town for the weekend and then we took off. But it worked out well. And everybody on move-in day is very helpful. The kids really hang out. There's events that they do. They had some kind of the stuff out on the green and things like that. So they were very busy even on move-in day. So even though you're there, you probably won't see your child after you drop their stuff, but you'll be close if they need you. So.
And Melissa, I added, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I know when after they all move in, they have the list of events that Seton Hall has. At 56 days of event, every day they have an event. Is to get all the new students to mingle and with the existing students, just to have everybody meet each other. So kind of foster like a really friendly environment, and a lot of people meet other students like that.
Yeah, and Millicent, I also added the link to the area hotels that provides discount rates to Seton Hall families. If you go right into that link, you can use, some of them have the actual code, or you just say, I'm calling to apply for the Seton Hall rate, and usually it's about 20% off the, the cost. So these are the ones that we recommend that you use that are really close to the campus as well. So I know there's a question in regards to, McDowell, thank you for the question. Can you please let me know if the new student welcome weekend also applies to commuter students? Yes, definitely. It's for all incoming students, those that are living on campus and also commuting. So yes, good question. Any other questions from our parents of incoming? Put it in the chat or just raise your hand and ask away.
I just want to raise a question about the basketball. I know in the past a lot of people had questions if they wanted to see the basketball game. And usually if you buy a ticket, there's buses from the campus that would bring you to the Prudential Center and bring you back. And that's usually like a big thing on campus.
Yeah, that's it's a big part of the experience for Seton Hall students. Fortunately, last year they didn't allow any students or anyone in the stands, but I think the last game they did, which was great. But like things are doing okay here in New Jersey, so we expect that we'll have fans in the stands for both the men's and the women's, especially with the women's because they've done a total renovation of the Walls Gym. That's where the women play on campus. So we're excited to kind of, bless that court with a winning team. And again, the men's play at Prudential Center in Newark, and there's yellow buses that take students that are living on campus directly to Prudential and back home. So it's just a safe way to get there and no cost. And so it's a great way for them to build community and enjoy the basketball game as well. And again, there's other in regards to students clubs and organizations. There's intramural sports, so there's another way for your students to really be involved. If it's basketball, if it's soccer, if it's volleyball. There's also club hockey, club volleyball. So there's a lot of ways for your students who want to stay competitive in the athletic world. It's a great part of their experience as well. So, any other questions from our parents of incoming freshmen about anything about the curriculum with arts and sciences? Any biology majors, if you want to ask specifically about any of that? The dual degree programs, we have Samantha, who's in a wonderful athletic training program, is a very shy group here.
Hi.
Okay.
I just had some all over questions, kind of.
Sure.
My daughter is going to be a freshman, and she is majoring in biology. And this is my first child entering the college, so it's like a very new thing for me. And she does target for the med school. There are a lot of credit transfer questions. So is this the place I should be asking this question, or is it some other place?
So is your question specifically about transferring credits that she has accrued from high school courses that she
From a
took?
community college, yeah. While
Community
she was
college.
in her high school, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would probably be more suited to the transfer program. So I can put that information in the chat. I don't know if anyone want to talk about the biology program. I know Lillian and Peter, your daughter Jennifer, is in that track as well. So if you want to share a little bit about that.
It's a tough program that they have at Seton Hall. I mean, it's not an easy program. You really got to study and understand everything and have a good background. It sounds like your child has a good background. They've taken some college courses and some AP credits, and they learn all the curriculum that they need if they go on. You said bio and pre-med for the MCAT, which they take in the junior to senior year. So it's a good program, but they do have to put a lot of effort in. They have to get to know the professors. They have to do labs and, just work hard at it. And, they'll do fine. It's just constantly make sure that they understand everything. If they don't, go to tutoring. Don't be shy. Like don't go, oh, I'll figure this out on my own and think that they're going to get through it. A lot of times they do need the tutoring. They do need to speak to the professors to understand things better and do well. So it's a good program, but you should know that your daughter or son should definitely get involved with their peers and with the community that's out there to help them.
Thank you. This is so appreciated. Also, with the current situation, that we are in right now, and New Jersey is good in terms of the current pandemic. What has school thought in terms of, I know school wants everybody back on grounds and, in terms of protection, like she is going to be in the Aquinas dorm, but I just wanted to know, like, what are some safety guards, or what as parents we can coach them? Or, is it going to be full class when she goes back in fall when the school starts? I just don't know. I'm all over, but just wanted an idea.
I mean, they should wear the mask. If the school mandates masks, they should wear the mask, and really just follow the guidelines. Seton Hall put out what's it called? The sanitizers at each station, like outside each dorm. I know, like I said, I'm on campus a lot. Everywhere you look, they had the sanitizers. They have the mask signs. So you just have to follow the protocols. My daughter did well, thank God. She's an RA and she didn't get any illness, thank God. She was good. So, we got through it and we've just followed all the safety precautions. Wash your hands, with the chemical, sanitizer, follow all the precautions, and they should do well.
And I think they do random COVID tests. They've been doing that last semester, random COVID tests too.
And make sure you, as parents, also have current email address, because the health and safety team and the university sent out phenomenal information all through the pandemic, pretty much on a weekly basis. And we were fully abreast of what was happening. Our child, again, in the middle of pandemic, we were trying to figure out how do we get her 3,000 miles home. The school was wonderful emailing and communications, but make sure your addresses and your phone numbers are 100% current. And even to this day, we still get the weekly notices and sometimes bi-weekly when things change. If protocol changes, we are getting those emails, so we know what the school is doing. We know what the protocol is going to be. There should be no surprises. The school has been very proactive, and that's another blessing. We thank the school for being proactive and keeping us as parents abreast and keeping our children safe. That's the biggest concern. But you need to be sure that you're getting those communications. And if you're not, contact the school and make sure that you do get those notifications, because they're great information. They tell you the numbers, they tell you what the school is doing. If there's any random changes that need to be taken place, they will let you know immediately. So
Yeah, and that's thank you, Celeste. And yeah, that's called the Health and Intervention Communication Team. We have a link to all their correspondences that we send out. It's almost weekly to the whole Seton Hall community. Students, staff, faculty, parents as well also gets that email. So it's an update in regards to how things are going. It's a fluid situation, right? Things can get worse, and we really are mandated by what the state of New Jersey is regulating us to do. So back in May, we announced that all students and faculty, staff, administrators are required to be vaccinated for the fall semester, with certain exceptions, right? So, and they're required to report their vaccination status through we have a university confidential vaccine declaration portal. I added that information in the chat. So we're taking safety. I mean, that's paramount for everyone. So I know we just received an email, I would say in the afternoon, about going back to wearing masks inside just because of this new Delta variant. So they're taking all precautions. It's always going to be on the side of safety first. So that's our main concern. And those that have that are trying to have exceptions, if it's medical or religious, they have to let us know. But they will have to wear a mask inside, outdoors, if they're not vaccinated. So that's where we're at with that. It's a
Thank you.
good
This is
question.
so helpful. Thank you. And I have not received any emails, but I will contact school.
I'm going to add the link to the HICT, which is the Health Intervention Communication Team. You can go right in there and see all the correspondences that we have in regards to COVID-19 response and updates. So it's a great information, it's a lot of information. There's also FAQs, but I highly recommend all parents be educated in regards to what we're doing as a university to this pandemic that we're still in, right? So I just added the link. Please take a look at it and read to be informed about all the precautions that are being taken. So we have about, one more minute. So I think, go ahead, Millicent.
Yeah. Do parents get, before they send their kid off to college, get a power of attorney and a living will for them to, in order, in case anything happened? I noticed I tried to make a doctor's appointment for my daughter the other day, and I was told I couldn't do it because she was 18 now, and they had to do it. So that made me start thinking, do you get some type of power of attorney or something so that if in a situation where you need to be able to do something for your child, that you have the authority to do that?
In regards to health situations, or
Yeah,
just
in regard to, yeah, a health situation, or if there's an emergency where, but like now, I was told that even with her being 18, I can't even get access to her information if she doesn't give me permission. So that
right?
would be the reason. So I wanted to know if the other parents have got a power of attorney, or what did they do in order to be able to have permission.
Yeah, Charlie.
Okay.
Thank you. That was an exact issue we ran into when our daughter was 17. And then when she turned 18, they said, hey, we can't tell you anything. So what we did is we got a hold of our daughter, and our daughter was very helpful. They have to give consent, and they give consent with the HIPAA form and just a couple other forms they have to sign. And my daughter said, okay, she'll sign it. But I'm not an attorney or nothing, but legally, if they don't give that consent, you don't get the information. But for the most part, your children will work with you. You got to kind of bring it up to them. Does that make sense?
So we don't have to, yeah, so we don't have to hire an attorney. We can just we can sign those papers there at the school. Or she
correct.
can sign papers
Your
there
daughter has to sign it, or your son,
to give consent
to
for
give
you.
consent. But the university will be very helpful, because when my daughter well, what do I do? What do I do? The university told her exactly what to do and where to do it. The university didn't tell us because they couldn't. So, and suddenly all the papers were signed and we were good to go.
Thank you. This has been so helpful. Very helpful.
We have wonderful parents of current students that have wealth of information. I've learned so much from them. I told my daughter she's going to be a senior in high school. I am so prepared when she goes to college. I'm probably have a PhD in parent information. So, but I've learned so much from our wonderful panel, Celeste and Charlie, who I've known for since 2017. I think I met them on a bus. We were doing a tour bus during Pirate Adventure, and it's awesome. And Lillian, Peter as well, and Lisa. So again, I just want to let parents of incoming freshmen, you're coming to what we say is the Seton Hall family. And so as much as you want to be involved, and this is your school too, feel free. You know, some of your student, even though you want your student to have this time to be independent and grow as young independent adults, but you got to kind of consider yourself as a coach now, right? You're coaching them through this experience, but you want them to learn on their own, to be assertive and be responsible for their own education at times. But my job is to inform you as much as possible about everything under the sun at Seton Hall to make sure your student is successful. But you have a wonderful parent community that's helping each other as well. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Our parents of incoming freshmen, good luck. We look forward to seeing you on move-in day. Those that are parents of commuters as well, we'll see you on campus in the fall. Seton Hall weekend is October 15th through the 17th. You'll be getting an email about that as well to register. I want to again say thank you to our wonderful panelists, Celeste and Charlie, all the way from LA. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Peter and Lilia Walpole, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Lisa and Levon, I don't know what happened. I think they got muted somehow, but again, thank you for joining us and sharing your wealth of knowledge and your advice. And please be safe. Have a great summer and go Pirates. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Well, I don't know. What did you get?